Alright, we're in the Ruby Sanctum, and I worked on this raid a couple times trying to solo it, and the truth of it is, Halion in Miss Pandaria is incredibly buggy and doesn't really work the way it's supposed to. But I was, by accident, able to kill the boss and loot the boss last night. I was just in the raid trying to get a screenshot. I had previously killed the boss, but then the corpse was not able to be looted. So, okay, I'm hoping I can reproduce what I did last night off stream to show you a kill of the boss where we can loot it. You see, I got some loot from it last night. Twilight scale shoulders, abductions cover. I'm on my rogue here, 505 item level, so we're pretty well geared. Playing assassination rogue. Yeah, that's all the stuff we've got. And then talent-wise, we're going Vendetta, Recovery, Recuperate, and these talents. I'd say, like, Leeching Poison is, like, really the only, you know, critically important talent here. So I've got Blessing of Forgotten Kings. Hang on. I don't want to fight those. Blessing of Forgotten Kings from a Drums of Forgotten Kings. Okay, never mind. I'm fighting this stuff over here. We aren't pulling the boss quite yet. We might need some of these mobs, because one of the ways that the encounter can bug out is it can fully reset, but then it doesn't allow you to leave this brown circle, even after the encounter fully resets. So then you need to aggro some of these trash mobs to get your character killed to be able to exit the instance, or Hearthstone out, but, you know, whatever. There's a lot of ways in which this encounter is bugged. But I think we're ready to pull the boss. So the plan is we pull the boss here, and we basically don't do much at the start. You know, it's not going to hurt me too bad, so I'm going to put up my Recuperate, and I'm just going to attack and chill. When the boss gets to 50%, it's going to open a portal to the Twilight. And we're going to click that portal to the Twilight really quickly, because the boss is also going to despawn at that point. And if I don't quickly press the portal to Twilight, the portal will also despawn, and then, you know, the entire encounter just, like, resets back to the start. So there's one way it's bugged. So we need to be sure to click the portal to Twilight really quickly. Oh, sorry, it goes at 73%, not 50. Okay, so we click it really quickly. Now we're in the Twilight. You can see, like, the Twilight surrounding. There's, like, a purple hue on the screen. We got the buff that says I'm in the Twilight Realm. There's the 2 orbs, but you'll notice the boss is not here. And my character is actually out of combat. I could just sit down and, like, eat food if I wanted to. I'm out of combat. The encounter is fully, like, despawned. I'm waiting for the boss to respawn in the Twilight Realm. Yep, here we go. So now the plan is we go until the boss gets to 50%, and then it'll start becoming corporeal, and it'll make a portal to the top side. And basically the corporeality will decrease as time goes on, which reduces the damage that Halion takes. And Halion's constantly healing itself also, so if you're not dealing enough damage to it and it's healing itself constantly, you're losing progress, right? And if you can blast enough damage, a huge amount of damage, you can just kill it in the Twilight Realm. I did that on my Frost Death Knight. That was my first kill of the boss. But if you just kill it in the Twilight Realm, you can't loot the boss's corpse. I don't know why that is, but it's just, that's the way it is. So our plan is to get it down to just a couple of % health, and then, you know, click the portal to go back to the top side, and then hope that being in the top side, we can kill it there, and then it should be lootable if we kill it from the top side. Okay, so here we go. This is the race. I popped all my cooldowns as soon as it hit 50%, because we want to front load as much damage as we possibly can. And then I want to look at where those portals are, because I want to be close to one of them. so that I don't kill it down here. Corporeality 40%. 5% health, 3% health, 2% health. Send a little more damage, click the portal, aggro the boss, and it's dead. And it's lootable. That's how you've got to do it to get the kill on Halion and have the boss corpse be lootable. You need to pull out of the Twilight Realm when the boss is at just a couple % health, and then quickly engage the boss on the top side and hit it there. And you saw the top side boss had a lot of health. I believe the health is like shared between the two. So by dealing damage to the top side boss, it's going to deal a little bit of damage to the bottom side one and then die. But because I've dealt damage to the top side boss, the corpse is lootable. I think what was happening before was if I killed the bottom side boss without damaging the top side boss, then, you know, it's not tagging the topside boss, and the topside boss is the one that's actually lootable. I don't know. So that didn't look too buggy, you know, from what I did there, but it's only because I've been able to navigate all the different bugs from a lot of experience. And you can see here, we've cleared the encounter, and here is one of the bugs, which is you cannot leave. You cannot leave. There's still an invisible wall here. You can't get out of the encounter area. So, yep, that's that. I'm going to log into another character, and we're just going to do it again. Like, we could do it on the Frosty K. We can do it on the Monk. We could probably do it on the Paladin, too. All my characters should be able to do this now that I kind of like know how to navigate through the different bugs of the encounter. So let's Hearthstone out. We got 207 gold, 72 silver, Boots of Divided Being, Zarithrian's Offering, Strength Ring, and Male Boots. So neither of those are transmog items. Any good loot from this boss? I don't know. I wasn't really concerned too much with what loot comes from this boss. I was mostly concerned with, can I actually kill the boss? You know? I think I'll try to showcase more of the bugs that I know about on the second character when we go in there. I did it on Frost Death Knight before. What if we go Monk and just, you know, see how Monk feels doing it? See what we can get on Monk. So, like, I'll show you what happens if you don't click the Twilight portal right away at the start of the encounter. Or, if you're in the Twilight Realm and you go up to the top side and then you don't immediately re-engage the boss, that's a problem too. I don't know how much time you actually have from clicking the portal to engaging the top side boss, but I don't think it's very much. What build am I in? I'm in tank build right now. We're going to do Windwalker build. There we go. Go in. We want big damage cooldowns, because in the Twilight Realm, we got to hit 50%, and then we just got to pop all the cooldowns. So I definitely want my Zuen talent, the Summon Tiger guy. Let me make sure that's what I have. Nope, I have Rushing Jade Wind, so we want to switch that. Diffuse Magic, Dampen Harm, Healing Elixirs. I don't think I'm going to need any of those. Healing Elixirs is a passive, so we'll go for that. Yep, those are all fine. Glyphs, Touch of Karma. Fists of Fury is like a really good soloing glyph. Fortuitous Spheres, we'll go there. And when we raid, we use this minor glyph of Blackout Kick, because we want my Blackout Kick to always do bonus damage when I'm raiding. But if I'm soloing, I do not want this. Remove that glyph. So the normal function of Blackout Kick is if you hit the enemy from the enemy's front, Blackout Kick heals you. if you hit the enemy from the enemy's back, Blackout Kick deals additional damage. I want the healing to help sustain my character. So the glyph forces it to always be the bonus damage and never be the healing, regardless of your positioning. So you don't want that glyph while you're soloing. Some people might like try to solo things on their monk and be confused as to why their character's dying all the time. If you don't remove that glyph that you normally use for raiding, you're gonna have a bad time. So something we didn't show on the rogue is when you go into Ruby Sanctum, you need to kill 3 mini bosses before Halion pops up, and they're just kind of boring. So whatever. I didn't show them, but we'll get into them. Here. None of them are too crazy, so it's whatever. So, this raid, the Ruby Sanctum, was the last raid of Wrath of Lich King. I would say it's a often forgotten about raid. It came out after Icecrown Citadel, but before, Cataclysm came out. And it's just in the Dragon Shrine right here, and you go in right to the left. And we're in the Ruby Sanctum. So, 3 mini bosses, one on the left, one on the right. You kill the left and right ones, then the way opens up to this guy in the middle, and then you can get him. See if I can get past these guys. Never mind. I thought I was going to get past without aggroing them. I was wrong. These guys don't have a whole lot of health. Easy peasy. Alright, this guy, he will split when he gets to low health. You just want to kill the main one that you were already targeting. You don't have to kill both of them. And sometimes he does a whirlwind ability. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah, Blade Tempest. I wonder if that's a time-based ability. I think I got him lower on my rogue before he activated that spell. Gonna Touch of Karma. Reflects my damage taken into the target. So it's both a defensive and offensive ability to use their Touch of Karma. Heal up with some healing orbs. We make our way over to Saviana Ragefire. This boss has an Enrage, and I don't have a way to remove the Enrage on my monk. I'm pretty sure that'll be fine, but if it's not, we can just go Brewmaster where, they'll never kill us. Oh yeah, you kill that first boss, and then some NPC, Zarastraza, starts telling you all this lore stuff. Not my cup of tea. Alright, just healing myself with some healing orbs while they go do the flying thing. That's fine. Oh, I should do some buffs, huh? Buff. Maybe a little one of these. Do I have a rune scroll of fortitude? Yes. There we go. Alright, bye-bye. 73 gold. So I think in total we get about 80 gold, 80 gold, 80 gold from the 3 mini bosses. So that's 240. Plus we got 207 off of Halion. So that's what, like 440? Not too bad for gold. Alright, General Zarithrian. This guy's got a stun. And he will stack Sunder Armor, and he'll summon some ads sometimes. Oh, I got feared in the middle. Oh, he's a... Okay. He's actually dealing me a lot of damage. Let me put up my Touch of Karma. Try to do some more blackout kicks. I'm thinking I can get through him without having to use my Zuen cooldown. Then I can just have that for the boss, for Halion. And I won't have to wait for it. Yeah, okay, there we go. His ads despawn when he's dead. And then we get to see the, like, Halion entry thing. A little bit of a fire beam from the sky. Some little dudes over there. Boom.
You're too late. The Ruby Sanctum is lost.
Ruby Sanctum is lost. Well, that's just like, your opinion, man. I don't think the Ruby... I think I'm gonna be totally fine here. Alright, so I'll show you a little bit more of the weird things that happen. Like if we don't immediately click the Twilight portal.
All bear witness to the coming of a new age of destruction.
So that happened at like 75% on the rogue. Yeah, so bosses despawn, Twilight portal is up, it's up, it's up, it's up, my character's out of combat, and it's gone. Some of the fire is still here. And I can exit the encounter area. So that's not a winning strategy. You gotta click that thing, and you gotta click it pretty quickly. Halion's back. Let's go again. Just fully reset the encounter. Fist of Fury active. Okay. Where is it? Clicked it. Okay, so now we're in the Twilight, and just like before, it'll take a minute for the boss to respawn. It's basically a full encounter reset right here, and we just happen to be starting it in the Twilight instead of in the top side. Any good loot from this boss? I don't know. I mean, the loot I would be worried about is, like, just transmog loot, basically. And I didn't really look at what's happening with transmog. So, at 50%, the boss starts becoming incorporeal. Want to build up maximum Tiger Eye Brew stacks. I could show you what happens if I click the portal right away. Yeah, why don't we do that? Okay, there's gonna be portals soon. Twilight Division. Where are the portals? There it is. Oh, the portal. One of those portals just went away? So, this boss, I don't think the encounter fully reset because the corporeality counter is still here. But this boss is at 100% and starting to tick down from 50 down to 40. I'm never going to beat this DPS race. See, it's 30%, and I deal less and less damage as it becomes less and less corporeal. So this is a unwinnable, like, this is an unwinnable race. If I stayed in the Twilight Realm where the boss was already at 50% health when it was at 50% corporeality, that's a winnable DPS race. And I think if I just stayed far away when I clicked that portal, it would have just, like, despawned. Hang on. Let me go here. And what happens down here? Click the portal. It looks like full fight reset, and I am not in the Twilight Realm. The fires just faded, and it allows me to go out. Can you go back to Twilight Realm and continue? The answer is apparently no. Yeah, so let's just get the boss kill in the way that I know we can do it. I think I've demonstrated enough for those curious, all the various ways that, well, not all, but a lot of the various ways that this encounter is really buggy. My plan is to just save up these Tiger Eye Brew stacks, so I have maximum stacks of Tiger Eye Brew when we get to that 50% burn phase inside of the Twilight Realm. Alright, portal please, portal please, portal please. There we go. Twilight Realm. Heal myself with some orbs. Just stand right in the middle. Come on. There we go. %, 67, 65. Trying to keep my health up as much as I can. Got max stacks of Tiger Eye Brew, so that's good. That's what I want. He's parrying a lot. Okay. Can I actually get enough damage? I feel like I'm not doing as much damage as I did on the rogue. Fight towards the portal. Corporeality at 30%. We can pump it a little bit more, but eventually the corporeality is going to get so low that it doesn't mean anything for us to stay here. Yeah, I think my burst damage is just not as good. Yeah, okay. Feels like now's the time to bail. Fight Halion topside. And is dead. Okay, there we go. Halion is basically still unsoloable. No. You just have to be very careful, Nordri, with how you navigate the different bugs in the encounter. We got the Surrogate Belt and the Twilight Scale Shoulder. Those look kind of cool. Unfortunately, they're male, so can't use them on any of my characters. Crit, haste, stamina, intellect. This is a Holy Paladin belt. What the hell, dude? Who cares about Holy Paladin loot? Can't exit the encounter, by the way. Invisible wall. Yeah. I mean, you just can't expect a small independent company like Blizzard Entertainment to be able to have a, you know, a functioning game. Like, these are just bugs that you have to accept when you play indie titles like World of Warcraft. Alright, cool. Monk and Rogue. Solo Halion. Showed you guys how to do it, how it's possible. Showed a bunch of the bugs, too.